It's the Ron and Fez Show. Toll-free phone number, 866-277-4969.
Yeah, what do you want?
All right, open phones to the end of the show, 866-277-4969, 866-277-4969. Pick up the phones and be heard. Here is Steven. Steven, you're on Ron and Fez. Sounds like we lost you. Here is Dave. Dave, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Cool in the gang.
What's up, Dave?
The courtesy flush.
The courtesy...
Use it,
yeah.
Use it, and love it.
You know, the courtesy flush, Fezzy, to me, it should go on without saying. Now, I've been watching the online Big Brother. J-Dubs was kind enough to pick me up the password so I could watch what happens when you're not watching the show. The guys have like little contests where they go in and look at each other's what they dropped. Today they were so excited about the size of Cowboys, where everybody in the house was saying it's the biggest they've ever seen.
This may be one of the more disgusting groups of people I've seen in that house.
You know, I'm used to the homoerotic thing, but that goes far and above.
Now it's homoerotic scat.
I think I'd rather see two guys making out than actually guys comparing their logs. 866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. Here's Bruce. Bruce, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Bruce, what do you got, buddy?
Hold on there. I'm going to have him check the phone for you. Check that line, would you, for Bruce? 866-277-4969.
You know, you talked about the Big Brother. I thought what I saw on Amazing Race was bad last night.
What happened? Because I don't watch the Amazing Race show.
You know, they have the one team that's cousins, and one of them is a little person.
Yeah.
Well, the little person, they're out in the middle of nowhere in Argentina, and I see her put her hand up on the wire fence, and I think, oh, be careful, that's barbed wire or something. Next thing you know, it was an electric fence that the little person put herself on, grabbed, and now she's running down the street screaming, I've been electrocuted, as fast as her little legs will take her.
Have you ever touched an electric fence before? It's one of the worst things that can happen. It just feels so awful. Here's what happens to me. It's like it shakes every cell in your body. It doesn't hurt as much as it feels awful all through your body.
And there's that weird can't let go feeling of it, of where you're kind of before you can pull away.
Yeah, because you're in total shock. And I guess your hand does kind of stick to it somehow, where it's almost a little difficult to pull your hand back. And
I thought, all right, now reality television has done everything. I've seen a midget get electrocuted on TV.
866-277-4969. Here, all right, we're going to try Bruce again. Bruce, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Ron Fez?
Yes, how are you, sir?
Yeah. Like I was saying, do you need further info for the pool tournament?
No, Bruce, you want to play in the pool tournament with us.
Just show up at 7:30, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. And going back to the...
I'm so glad this isn't a real pool. Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, right, yeah. And I hate going back to like college coaches.
Yeah.
And Major League Baseball coaches, Earl Weaver. Yeah.
Bruce, have you been drinking tonight? Have you had a couple drinks?
Yeah, I've been sitting on my balcony and listening to you all.
What's the drink of choice tonight?
Oh, it was British rum.
British rum. You know what he sounds like? It's like when you used to have a 45, but you would turn it down to 33 1/3.
Oh, that was always cool.
It's almost like you're talking in slow motion. Bruce, I'm going to put you on hold, and they'll sign you up for the tournament. And I've got to see him play.
And find out how high that balcony is he's listening on.
Hey, he'll do okay. Josie, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, how y'all doing? I've been listening to you guys for the past couple of days, so I'm a new listener, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share with you I just heard you guys talking about being electrocuted.
Yeah.
When I was in the 6th grade, I was visiting my family in another country, and the roof
What
there
country?
was flat. I was in India.
Uh-huh.
And the flat there, so you can actually go on the roof. And it was raining, and the electric wire got, I guess, cut loose or something.
Oh, my God.
And I was just spinning around. I was in 6th grade playing in the rain, and the wire got attached to my hand.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really bad. And it's true. Like, when you get electrocuted, you feel like you can't let go.
Well,
and every single bone in your body gets rattled.
You know, we're talking about an electric fence, which just gives you a slight shock. It's not. You could have been killed. Yours is really being electrocuted. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. And, you know, I'm 6th grade. I didn't know what the heck was going on. But
did it knock you out?
Yeah, it did. Apparently it did. But then I got up and went downstairs, and people from across, you know, the street came running, telling my mom and my grandmother that there's a kid upstairs who got electrocuted, and we think she's dead. And they saw me. They're like, oh, here you are. And I was telling my mom right then, I got electrocuted, and she didn't believe me. And then they looked at my hand, and till this day, when it rains or thunderstorms, these veins show up in my hands, and you could tell the spot where the entrance wound was.
Wow, like a little lightning rod.
Yeah, it was the freakiest experience of my whole life.
All right, thank you. I mean, you're very, very well. You're very, very lucky to be alive.
He's doing better than Bruce.
Here's Mark. Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, who am I talking to? Ron?
Ron and Fez. We're both here together.
This isn't Ron.
We're both here on the phone with you, I assure you, sir.
Go ahead, Mark.
All right, listen, this is my best impersonation of Ron doing the 866-277-4969.
That's your impression of me?
Yeah.
It's stunning. Try it one more time, because, Fez, I thought I said it. It was like hearing an echo. Do it one more time.
866. Now I'm all confused.
It was unbelievable. You know, this
Yeah, what do you want?
Is maybe the best thing we've got going now, Fez. There's so many interesting calls coming out of it. 866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. It's open phones with...
Yeah, what do you want?
Hey, Bill, you're on the air. What do you want?
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddy.
I know it's kind of a smorgasbord conversation tonight, but I just came to mind, I realized that Alec Baldwin said he was going to leave the country if Bush got elected. Did anyone remind him he was supposed to leave?
You know, that came up a couple times, and he said he never said that even once. And I've never heard any tape of him saying that he would leave the country. And so I don't ever even know what happened with that whole gimmick.
Got to bust his chops for that.
Yeah.
I think I remember it with it being the ex-wife Kim Basinger saying it about him. You know, as the legend grows down the line.
Yeah, but
like
the way
foreign press.
But the way everybody quotes it now is Alec Baldwin said that. I saw him on a show where he goes, "No, I didn't," and I've never heard any tape or seen anything of him saying it. So I can't exactly.
Bust his chops for that. Yeah,
now,
I understand.
O'Reilly's going to have him on next week, so that'll be interesting.
O'Reilly's your boy, right? You guys are good with O'Reilly.
Oh, you kidding? O'Reilly is a saint. He never tells a lie. And, matter of fact, we got some clips of his show today. This is O'Reilly's show. So there you go.
And that's on a good mood.
O'Reilly's your boy. I never thought I would live to hear that thing said about it.
We should have never sat next to him at the company cafeteria.
Vincent, you're on Run and Fez.
Hey, fellas.
Yeah.
Man, I got a stun gun, and I stuck it down in some grass to electrocute a bumblebee, and the grass was wet at the time, and it shocked my arm, and it just numbed my whole arm.
We used to play a game called Spin the Stunner where we would have a big spinning wheel and stun each other when we did the show back when we used to do the Ron and Ron morning show. And it stung bad, but I would never use it to think I'm going to drop an intruder with this. It stings you, and you almost start swinging as soon as you get stung, even though you know it's coming.
Yeah, it doesn't drop anyone like on TV.
Yeah. If anything, it just annoys the hell out of you. Here is Tim. Tim, you're on.
Yeah, what do you want?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Hey, I was wondering, when Stalker Patty come down, did she bring Stalker Caddy? And if so, did Fuzz Wally and that cat get it on?
She left Stalker Caddy at home, and have you talked to her since she got back to New York, Fez?
I actually talked to her the day she got back.
Yeah.
And
I heard she's late.
Of course she's late. She's changed.
No, I heard she's like a faulty typewriter, Fez, and if I was you, I'd start feeling a little nervous about this.
Nothing happened.
Here's Steve. Steve, you're on the air.
Yes, I'm not gay or anything, but I like dressing up as a woman. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, so you're a cross-dresser, and you're wondering if you're gay.
Yes, exactly.
I'd say yeah. I say you're definitely gay. No, they say there's plenty of people who cross-dress, Fez, and you would know better than me. But there's plenty of people who cross-dress, but it doesn't mean that you're gay. It's a transvestite isn't necessarily gay.
Right,
although a lot of them are.
Just someone who feels more at home, more comfortable in women's clothes, not even being a woman, but just being in those clothes.
Yeah, that's right. There's that comic, that British comic, who is absolutely hysterical. Maybe the funniest guy doing stand-up now.
Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard. He'll come out in a pair of pumps, a dress, whatever. He goes, yes, I'm a transsexual. And he deals with it a minute or two, and then he just does the rest of his act sitting there dressed as a woman, but it's about all this other funny stuff. And nothing about him seems gay. I don't think that he ever lets on the fact that he's gay. I think that he says that he's not. There's a new documentary coming out on him. I guess it played at Cannes. I hope it plays in the theaters about his whole lifestyle and everything that he's into. But hysterical guy, and as far as I know, not gay.
Yeah, but it will go full makeup, too, along with the dress and everything.
Yeah, full makeup. Everything is as a woman. Now, why would that happen? Why would a human being say to themselves, this is the way I should look, but I'm not gay?
Yeah, it's I don't understand the comfortability thing about it.
No, actually, men's clothes, you've got to admit, are much more comfortable. I don't think it's not more of a comfortable like, oh, this is comfortable. It's more like, this is how I prefer to look. I'm more comfortable. Not that there's anything more comfortable about wearing heels and nylons.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, more mentally comfortable than physically.
All right, it's like some of your OCDs, you know what I mean, where you feel like, I know if I do this, I'll feel better. That would probably be the closest thing of saying, of once he has such a compulsion to wear it, that once he puts it on, he starts to feel more comfortable with it. And yet, I'm saying that without having any idea of the psychological thing behind it or knowing for a fact that's how it is. 866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. Here's Harry. Harry, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, listen, I've been a long-time listener ever since you guys first came on the air at JFK.
Thank you very much.
And listen, you know, you guys were talking about people being shocked. By the way, I'm not on a balcony. I'm in my gazebo at ground level, and my drink of choice is Bud Ice Light.
Thank you very much.
And, well, I had my relatives play a joke on me when I was a kid. They lived on a farm in Vermont, and I'm from Waldorf, Maryland, and they figured it'd be a funny joke to actually have me relieve myself on a electric fence.
I know a lot of farmers do this. You grew up on a farm, J-Dubs. Do you remember these kind of stories?
We always had the stories. None of us had the gall to try it, but I did lay the junk on one before.
Oh, and how'd that feel?
I was drunk.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that bad. Like, I stood there for like 15 seconds.
I guess it depends on the fence, right?
Yeah, it depends on what you how high you had it set. But we had it set about 75%. I think if I would have done it sober, though, I would have been jumping.
It wasn't pleasurable, I assure you.
All right, thank you very much, Harry. 866-277-4969. Here's Kathy. Kathy, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hi, how are you?
Cool.
Or should I say, hey, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
All right.
Have you all ever heard of being on the down low?
On the DL, yeah.
I just heard about it. I had no idea what it was. My girlfriend told me it's when black men like to have relations with other men, but they don't want to admit that they're gay.
Well, yeah. All right, here's the way I heard the story. That it was kind of black guys who got out of jail where, you know, when you're in jail, sometimes you'll have homosexual sex because that's the only thing. All right, now the slang is in the black community, and this is only the way I heard it. I haven't heard it from, you know, guys that actually do it. But it's called on the down low or on the DL, where you'll do that kind of thing because it's pleasurable, but you don't want a relationship, you don't consider yourself gay. What do you think of that, Fez? I know you've been on the down low now for quite a few years.
I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That sounds brilliant.
Well, you know what? I was watching Law and Order, and of course, Law and Order has everything. And they actually did a show on that, and it's where they had a poker game every week.
Yeah.
And like 8 guys would go there, and only 6 guys would play poker, and 2 of them would take the bedroom.
Now, I don't watch Law and Order, but I read this thing in the New Esquire about a guy who was... They kind of do a thing in Esquire, what it's like. Like somebody will say, this is what it's like to climb a mountain. This is what it's like to ride big waves. And this guy was actually passed around in prison and was sold for cigarettes from gang to gang to gang and was just raped multiple times. And whenever he would complain to prison officials, they wouldn't care one way or another. So he had to go to some kind of citizens group. I forget which one it was, but people who kind of come in the prisons and make sure everything's okay. And they got to move to a different place.
That's frightening. Do you still have that article?
I feel like you're saying it in a gay way, though.
No, I just like to check that out. I like to do research.
Yeah, but I don't want you to, you know, enjoy it.
We'll keep it on the down low.
I don't even want you using that. I don't even want you to use that term with me. All right, we're going to take a break. Your chance. Open phones tonight. Let yourselves be heard. 866-277-4969. Anything you want to talk about. Nothing is off bounds. Any questions you have for me or Fez, anything you've seen in the news, or anything that's just been in your crawl, call the show and get it out of your mind tonight. 866-277-4969. We'll be right back. It's the Ron and Fez Show.